Hey guys, so I'm making this channel because I have decided to try Sublocade maintenance. Um, this decision took weeks. Um, I needed to know everything about it. It's still fairly new and there's not a lot of information on it. So I am not one to concede to maintenance. It's never worked for me. And like any good opiate addict, withdrawal puts the fear of God into me. So when I was told about it, I didn't believe that there was no sickness. Um, I wasn't selling that. So um, I obtained some information. I talked to some other addicts who have tried it. And when I heard that there is no sickness and you feel completely normal on it, that kind of relieved my worries. Uh, I decided to make a channel because I think it's important to share my experience. And when people like me find themselves trying to make this decision, um, maybe I can give you a little solace and share my experience with it. So maybe answer some questions. This is my first time doing this. I'm not just going to make one about Sublocade. I also want to share my experience and, where I've come from after 15 years of battling this and, the things I've learned along the way. Um, I'm a firm believer in helping the next struggling addict, and I have had my fair share of calamity, trauma, loss, despair, pain, broken hearts, and I think for me, when I was fairly new to this, it would have been nice to have something like this to go and watch and maybe get some, not just strength and hope, but maybe relieve some fears and worries and concerns. And, maybe my experience can help along the way. I don't think I have all the answers. I don't think I'm cured or recovered. But I feel as though I have enough experience and knowledge to help a little bit. And that's what I want to do. I just want to assist, maybe shed some light on some things, and help. Because I feel as though that's what I'm here to do. So I'm going to make this video just about what I know about Sublocade. And then I'll do another one of, the journey that I've been having with opiate addiction. So let's talk about Sublocade. I just had 3 years clean, and I did that through Vivitrol. Vivitrol supplemented with therapy and step work and trauma work and, getting spiritually sound, which I did achieve. I did find peace of mind. I did find myself and learn who I really am. And spirituality was me. It was, as the AA book promised, a life beyond my wildest dreams. And that was Vivitrol. So when I found myself in a relapse, which I will share the tragedy that happened in another video that caused me to relapse. I ended up in Meermont Rehab in Delaware County, Pennsylvania, where I'm from. and I was coming off a lot of Suboxone. When I relapsed, I didn't go right to fentanyl. I was abusing kratom and Suboxone up to 7, 8 strips a day, which is silly because I don't know if anybody knows this, but Suboxone has a cap. It's called the roof. So when you take Suboxone, your body finds, its level. Water finds its level, right? So like by your weight and tolerance, your body finds, okay, once I hit 6 strips, that's it. Anything past that is not going to make a difference. I'm still just going to feel the same. So I was abusing a lot. So my receptors needed a lot. It found its roof, probably around 7 strips. So abusing that every day for about 2 months, and then taking kratom when I didn't have Suboxone. Kratom is another chemical that is an opiate, but not in the same family. It's legal. They sell it in smoke shops and vape shops. It's everywhere. The thing about kratom is it is a magical relief for withdrawal. In certain forms. It doesn't always work if you don't do it right, which I'll do another video on, if you're trying to taper off fentanyl or methadone or anything stronger, then you can use kratom and wean yourself off the kratom, because that also as well has a withdrawal, just not as severe. So when I got to Miramont, it was all Suboxone and kratom. And I got in front of the doctor and we talked about, detoxing me. We knew that the amount of Suboxone I took, this detox was going to be long. It was going to be hard. And it wouldn't be, the template detox where, like, when you go to rehab and you're in the hospital part and they're detoxing you, they follow a template and they go like, okay, so Miramont uses Subutex to detox off opiates. So every opiate addict that comes in there is going to get 4, 6, 8 milligrams, and then they're going to drop you down 2 every day or every other day. So when me and the doctor talked, we knew that that wasn't going to work because I'm not coming off fentanyl or heroin, which isn't even around anymore. That's for another video. We discussed the taper being extended for 2 weeks. Now, a typical template taper is 7 days. The addict will come in, they'll talk about their tolerance and how much fentanyl they're using, and the doctor will give them 8, 2, 6, 4, maybe 2 days of 4 milligrams, depending on how sick and how high your tolerance was. So for me, she put me in for a 2-week detox taper off Suboxone. And it was 8 milligrams for a few days, 6 milligrams for a few days, 4 milligrams for 2 days, and then 2 milligrams for like 4 or 5 days. So as the 2 weeks went on, and she was giving me this Subutex. Now, Subutex is like Suboxone, but what the difference is it doesn't have a taper. I'm sorry. It doesn't have a blocker. Subutex, 1 milligram of Subutex is equal to 30 milligrams of methadone. But it just impacts your body and receptors a little lighter. So when you take it, it's not going to make you 100% well or get rid of all withdrawal. But it helps your receptors in your brain to accept the fact that this is all it's getting right now. And while doing that, they would supplement it with what's called comfort meds and give me like, Bentyl for nausea, Vistarol, Valium. For me, my detox was rough. I was in the hospital, part of the rehab for a while, and I was throwing up the middle of the night in my sleep, shaking profusely. My hands would be like that. Sometimes I would hallucinate. There was no sleep. I would be detoxing and withdrawing from Suboxone for 24 hours a day because I would not sleep. When you're coming off an opiate that strongly, your sleep pattern is like 20-minute intervals, and like you'll feel like you slept for hours, but you look at the clock and it's 20 minutes. It's absolute suffering. It's suffering and it's torture, and you just lay there feeling like you'd rather die, and you hate yourself because you did it to yourself. You get a broken thermostat, so your body is constantly hot and cold. So 1 minute you're sweating, the next minute you're freezing. You're throwing up profusely, and it's all body, stomach bile, because you're not eating. I would try to eat some crackers or oatmeal just to get something in my stomach, and I would throw up. So they're giving you Gatorade, they're giving you Valium, they're giving you Bentyl. There's also a shot they give people who are on chemo because they vomit a lot. So they shoot this needle, it's like this big, in your butt cheek, and it like shuts your stomach down so that the regurgitation won't happen. This went on for a few days, and then the Subutex started building up in my system. As they were giving me 6 milligrams, it wasn't just, oh, here's 8 milligrams, and that's going to stay on my receptors, for 8 hours. They give you one dose in the morning. They give you another dose 8 hours later, like at night, and then another dose the following morning. What's happening is this Subutex is now clinging to my receptors, and it's building, and it's building, and it's filling them in. So after a few days of dosing me with the Subutex, little, as I'm going through the withdrawal, it built up in my system and covered my receptors enough that I was not ill anymore. The sickness went away. I could feel it just a little bit, my body trying to break out of its own cloak. But, it diminished. And they started dropping the taper. I got down to week 2, and I was down to 4 milligrams and then going down to 2. As this happened, the withdrawal came back. My body hadn't had enough yet, and it was still trying to kick the Suboxone that I was abusing. So when week 2 happened and she dropped me down to 2 and 4 milligrams and I started vomiting again and not sleeping, she extended the taper, the doses, for another week. So now we're on week 3 of detoxing and withdrawing and completely ill, with also, the mental stuff. I was grieving a loss of someone very close to me, which I'll get into on another video about my relapse. So I was just a complete, dumpster fire inside a train wreck during a blizzard. So I go in front of the psych, and she's like, Joey, I've had you on 3 weeks of a taper, and you're still sick. Maybe you should consider Subutex. All right. So what happens with Subutex is they shoot it in your belly, and it's like a ball, and it sits there, okay? And when your receptors need more, it will take a little piece of it and put it on, right? Because without that ball, your receptors are going to want opiate, and what they'll do is they'll start playing with levers and buttons inside you, and it'll be like, all right, I need opiates, broken thermostat. Let's make the body hot and cold. Okay, I'm still not getting opiates. Let's make the stomach regurgitate. So with the Subutex, it stays in there, and when the body craves and wants opiates, it'll take a little piece. It's equivalent to like 2 8 milligrams a day. It stays in there. You don't have to worry about taking it or abusing it. It works on its own system. It takes it as your body craves it. With that cravings go away because your receptors are getting what they want. So why have a craving? There's no sickness, there's no withdrawal, because this ball is sitting there feeding your system from getting sick. This happens through the span of a month. They shoot 300 milligrams in your belly, and for 30 days, your system takes out little pieces and little piece and little piece. And then come the second month, you get another shot. And now your body is leveling out, and it's finding its way. It's finding balance, and it's taking what it needs when it needs it. So if you don't get the shot, your body is detoxing itself. I know it sounds impossible, and it sounds like something between a fluke and a miracle. Sometimes I think about the Suboxone people when they realized how to do this, and they were like, guys, we did it all wrong. We're not supposed to give them strips and pills to take each day. We can just shoot it in their bellies, and they have no control. So if it's in my belly and it's feeding my receptors every day, little by little, what's happening is it's tapering itself. My body is detoxing itself without me having to know about it, control it, feel it, anything. So if I don't get my next shot through that month that it's feeding off that little ball, I'm dropping down and detoxing. So when I stop taking the shot, I don't have to suffer. I don't have to feel pain. I don't have to be ill. It just goes away. This sounded like a fairy tale to me. It sounded like they were trying to sell me something that doesn't exist. I didn't believe it. So the doctor was like, if I give you the Sublocade shot, we don't have to go through this anymore, and your body will just detox itself. You won't feel this. You'll sleep, you'll eat, there'll be no vomiting, there'll be no pain and suffering. The wretched angst with opiate withdrawal, your body gets this impending doom feeling in the pit of your stomach. Mine's like around my waistline and my stomach. I just feel this awful angst of just like impending doom, like something's very wrong. And it is. My body's sick. So was my mind. That wasn't there. So when she told me about this, I went another few days still feeling sick off the taper because I was down to 2 milligrams. And I asked other addicts, and I talked to other people, and I asked them to print me out information on it. But I was in rehab, so I couldn't go online and Google. There was no way of doing it. I had to just get opinions from other people. I talked to 2 or 3 addicts who have done it before, and they assured me when they stopped taking it, they didn't even know it. That, to an opiate addict, sounds like heaven. When you're an opiate addict, your life has one purpose, 2 thoughts, 1 mission. How am I getting well today? How am I staying well today? By any means necessary. So if I come to an opiate addict and I say, listen, I have this thing, I shoot it in you, and you're going to feel normal for a month, and there'll be no sickness, it's like a blessing from God. But I didn't believe it, and I didn't know anything about it. All I knew was Vivitrol. And with Vivitrol, you have to be completely off any opiate or taper of any kind for 15 days before you can get the Vivitrol. Now, the difference between Sublocade and Vivitrol is Vivitrol goes into your system. It's the same thing. It's a shot. They put it in your butt cheek. And it goes into your receptors, and it caps them. So if I'm on Vivitrol, and it's capping my receptors, and I go out and snort fentanyl like I do, I won't feel it. I won't get that gooey, warm, life is okay again, voices shut up feeling because my receptors are blocked. But the dangerous part of that is just because the receptors are blocked doesn't mean the opiate that I just took isn't affecting my body. It still slows my respiratory system down, slows my heartbeat down, and I'm still subject to overdose and won't even know it. So that kind of scares you a lot to not use on Vivitrol. But that's all it does. It just blocks. With Sublocade, it shoots in your belly and it feeds your receptors. It doesn't just block them. So it completely coats them so that now you can't use an opiate, and it gives it an opiate. So it works two ways. It blocks like Vivitrol, and it feeds like Suboxone. So I wanted to go back to Vivitrol because I don't like maintenance. I don't like being sick. I don't want to come off anything. I don't have to worry about later down the road. How am I going to get well? How am I going to get off this? Do I need to go detox? I don't want to worry about taking methadone every morning and just being terrified to get to the clinic. And did I take my Suboxone today? Will my prescription be ready? Will I have to feel sick today? Now, all I'm referring to are the physical aspects of opiate addiction. I will get into the mental on another video. That's a whole different thing. Right now, we're just discussing the physical dependency and illness that comes with it. So I wanted to go back to Vivitrol. I wanted to get my 15 days without Subutex and the taper, completely off everything, so that my receptors are completely cleaned out, completely empty, back to their normal condition, and then I can get Vivitrol, and then I'll go in and block it. So if I have a bad day, there's no point in using over it. That's supplemented with therapy and step work and the fellowship and everything else. But I got it in case while I'm supplementing it with all this other stuff and cleaning my side of the street out, if something happens or I'm not okay, I won't have cravings. I'll be fine. So to switch to Sublocade, I had to have 15 days off that taper, and I couldn't get off it. Suboxone withdrawal is long. It has a very, very long shelf life. If you are on Suboxone, to get off it takes weeks, and it's suffering, and it's hard, and you have to have some kind of mental strength to make it through. I spent every day for 3 weeks trying to kick Suboxone, and every day was hell, and every night was long and suffering. So, after talking to other addicts, I went back to the doctor, and I said, all right, let's do it. They shot me with the Sublocade, and I kind of felt a little warm, gooey feeling, but then it kind of like leveled itself back out for like 24 hours. I kept feeling like this little like, oh, I just took a bunch of Suboxone, and then it would level back out, and then it would warm up and level back out. So my body was taking it in, and it was accepting it, and it was becoming friends, and it would just figure out, all right, how are we going to be a complementary relationship, and how much am I going to need from you so that my system is at normal keel, right? So once it balanced out, it was like 2 or 3 days. 2 or 3 days of like feeling that like it's up, it's down, it's up, it's down. But I wasn't sick. I didn't feel any broken thermostat. I wasn't nauseous. I was sleeping. I didn't even mention leg pains, restless leg syndrome. None of it. They gave me the shot, and I was fine. So 2 or 3 days passed of that, like feeling the gooey, but okay, feeling gooey, feeling warm, but okay. And then it stopped. And by the grace of God, I felt completely normal. I didn't even know I was on it. So I'm on day 5. So by day 3, I just felt normal. I can sit here today and tell you, for someone that is against maintenance, because I have my own beliefs, I am very ambivalent with my beliefs. I am very apprehensive. I was taught in AA, and this is going to be for another video, that when you're on a mind-altering substance, you sacrifice a spiritual experience. And to stay sober, you need spirituality and to have that experience. And when you're on any kind of maintenance, like an opiate, like a blocker, like Suboxone or Sublocade, you won't have one. I'm going to hope that if I work hard enough while on Sublocade and I start not getting my shot or lowering the shot, I'll still have my spiritual experience. I'll still work my steps. I'll still find myself again, but I'll do it while my body's detoxing off this. I'm on, like I said, day 5. I will make another video in another 5 days and let you guys know how I feel. But as of right now, I'm me. Yeah, I'm me again. Sublocade is safe. It works. I'm okay. I'm okay. So if you're if you're considering Sublocade and you're not feeling it and worried about it, I can assure you that it does help. It works, and you don't need to suffer. Don't do what I did and wait 3 to 4 weeks just to try to kick and get well again. Your body needs to do it on its own. Give yourself a break. Don't suffer anymore. Get the shot. It's okay. We are in an epidemic, and we're desperate. I am grateful that this is available, and I think of all my friends for the past 15 years who didn't make it through this disease, who didn't have this option. So now that it's available to us, try it. But please, I full-heartedly ask you, if you're sick and withdrawing and going through that hell, go get Sublocade. Don't do this to yourself.